Down to San Diego and providing such a nice meal. Kim, thank you for the meal before we started this evening. And it's truly an honor to be amongst people that want to hear about whole food nutrition. It seems that it's kind of a people see it as kind of a strange, politically incorrect, weird thing to be talking about what we're talking about tonight. But for thousands upon thousands of years, it's what we ate. And it was discovered in the 1930s by Dr. Weston Price, and in fact, there was real science behind what we ate for thousands and thousands of years. And the truth of Mother Nature came through in the diets of people all around the world that had near-perfect nutrition from their foundational diets. It included lots of good different kinds of biodiversity in their bacteria that they ingested. And the foods that they ate came from grass-fed animals or marine sources of fish that had sources of algae and so on and so forth. And all were very enzyme-rich and had raw fats. And those three things are missing in America today. We don't have raw fats in our diet, unless you like sushi quite a bit, or roadkill, and we don't eat those things very much. And we don't eat seal liver very much either. Enzymes are pretty much missing in our diet because everything's cooked or preserved. And enzymes are actually anti-long shelf life, so it's not really seen on commercial shelves. And bacteria is seen as, bacteriophobia. Bacteria kills you. So we have missed the foundations of what Dr. Price found as foundational foods around the world. And now we're seeing the manifestations of that 70 years later in America by seeing blights of disastrous chronic long-term diseases and acute short-term diseases that are killing people left and right. I mean, we could start tonight and talk about 15 of them really easily. I mean, obesity, diabetes, autism, Crohn's disease, irritable bowel syndrome, asthma, allergies, eczema. I mean, we go on all night long. Things that have never been seen prior to 1930s and the 20s were never seen. So we as conscious consumers need to get educated quickly about what foods can prevent disease versus going to a doctor after you get sick and try to prevent it with some kind of, or cure it with some kind of FDA-approved drug. How many of you have seen advertisements of these drugs that they've got? And they've got this long laundry list of these side effects that will kill you, and literally, including death. So we're not talking about that today. We're talking about not taking your brand new car into the mechanic and say, turn off my warning light on the dashboard, and not fix the underlying problem. We're talking about fixing the underlying problem so you never have a warning light. We're not talking about taking care of signs and symptoms. We're talking about underlying physiological changes in your body so your body can fix itself like it's supposed to. And that's the beauty of what's going on. I came down here with Blaine to meet with you, to forge a relationship with you, answer your questions, take any of your concerns, and provide food to you. That's what I did. I'm doing here. I own Organic Pastures Dairy, and I often say I don't own a thing, it owns me. Because when you own a dairy, it's 24/7. But we have a dairy in Fresno, California that's grass-based, organic, and we milk about 350 cows, and we serve about 350 stores every week with 10 trucks and 30 people that work really, really hard to bring fresh raw milk to those people in California, and other raw products as well besides raw milk. And the word raw is kind of a misnomer. It's unprocessed whole food. Raw has kind of got roadkill, bloody connotations, unfinished, unsafe. It's not raw. It's pure. It's whole. It's untouched by man. And that's what we bring to 350 stores every week. And the people are getting it. In this time of crisis, economic crisis and uncertainty in our country and the world, it's very interesting to see when everything else goes south, raw milk goes north. Our sales have climbed in the last month and a half. It's amazing. Now we routinely do see a climb of product in the fall. But other places that see a climb in product in the fall are falling right now because of people who are tightening their belts and having issues with concern about economics. But when it comes to health and people losing everything and realizing the only thing I really have is my health, when you really think about it, a case of cancer is pretty darn expensive when it thinks about you're going to pay with your life. Or asthma or allergies, or maybe you can't pay for medications anymore. You need to prevent it by just having a good, wholesome lifestyle. People start doing work on the internet and say, what can I do about this? And they get it, and they listen to people they didn't listen to before. Because there's a lot of denial going on about what, in fact, you can do personally, responsibly in your life to prevent things from happening as far as the disease process is concerned. And I've been asked to speak all over, literally, the world. I've spoken in Melbourne, Australia. I've spoken in 4 places up in Canada this last year. I've spoken at Rutgers University. I've spoken as an expert at Stanford University in front of 100 medical students and their professors. And the message is, guys, the doctors don't have a full tool chest. The doctors have about 10% of the tools they need to prevent disease. The rest of it is all curative, using FDA-approved drugs. and they don't work very well, and they have all these sequelae and issues that come out of using them. What about prevention? And prevention falls right in the lap of Weston Price Foundation and organic farmers, because it's about nutrition. It's about the foods you find at a farmer's market, the foods you don't find at the regular supermarket. As you look at the ingredient list, it's got 15, 16, 25, 100 things on it. It's always got nitrates or some weird thing you can't pronounce or some preservative. Those are anti-probiotic. Those are anti-bacteriosapien, which all of us are. Tonight, I could have about 16 different versions of the speech I've made. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do kind of a hybrid of what I think you might want to hear to understand more fully what raw milk is all about and how it can fit into your life. And how you could join the Buyers Club that's being formed here, and it's been formed, they've already got their first delivery, and get these prices dropped way down to the prices we deliver to the stores for. So you can make it more cost effective and completely cut through the food chain and have that relationship directly with me and not with the store anymore. So we can actually communicate directly and have our trucks come here directly every week and drop off product, and you can actually have a relationship with people here, Steve and Kim. Yes?
Do you have a license for that?
A license for what? No.
Distributing raw milk?
No. We actually have a grade A permit from the state of California, are fully licensed to sell raw milk. And we can sell it to anybody we want to. We're inspected very intensively, and we'll talk about that. But the bottom line is we can sell in California raw milk legally.
But if you deliver it to us and we're holding it in our freezer or something, it's okay?
Absolutely. You can do whatever you want with it. You can take that milk and you can do whatever you want with it. You can make cheese out of it, you can drink it.
I had some colostrum waiting at the co-op.
Uh-huh.
And since I was a day late to pick it up, they said legally we can't sell it.
Which co-op?
People's for Ocean Beach.
I don't know. That's not. That product's good for.
You're a day late, legally we can't give this colostrum to you.
I have that sound. I need to talk to those people because that's not the way it goes. That product should be available for you for 10 days there on the shelf, and then the next week we'll provide new product. But anyway, long story short, we are going to discuss tonight questions you may have about raw milk, about its safety, about what it does to your physiology, why humans and raw milk get along so well, and the whole political paradigm of why it's politically incorrect but nutritionally perfect, or nearly so, and answer your questions so you can feel really comfortable leaving here why this makes so much sense for you when everybody else may be saying, you're crazy. Now, you know, if you breastfed your baby, which you probably did, raw milk is breast milk. It's not pasteurized.
I asked the doctor about that, in fact, when she was only 4 days old.
And what did he say?
Should I pasteurize because we told him, oh, we drink raw, goat's milk.
Uh-huh.
We didn't even say raw, we just said, oh, we milk our own goats and we drink it. And he said, are you sure you heat that milk to
Right.
whatever it was, 180 degrees? I'm like, I don't even know what the what the level
Right.
was since we don't
Right.
do it. And so then I just asked him, I said, oh, should I do the same to my breast milk? And he just like, he didn't respond, he just was like,
That you just touched the nerve of where he wasn't trained in medical school.
yeah.
It's like, oh, I didn't get that one in medical school. Breast milk is raw milk. That's where it all begins. If we can start foundationally, my life started as pre-med. I never got to be a doctor, but I was a paramedic for 16 years, ran about 15,000 paramedic calls. And I watched every walk of life to try to do everything to one another and to themselves for a long time, on a helicopter, on a rescue team, and as an EMS paramedic. And I've delivered 26 babies. And my wife's a labor and delivery nurse, worked for 18 years as a labor and delivery nurse, BSRN. So we're very well associated with the medical field in the Western concept of medicine. For the last 10 years, I've been deeply immersed in more of the preventative medicine side of things. So I've had the opportunity in my life to see and experience the disasters of Western medicine and how they culminate in all kinds of early death and problems with manifestations of signs and symptoms of the use of drugs and how they can be improperly used and how they can be properly used as well. If you're going to be hit by a truck in the United States and go to a trauma center, you're in good hands. You got good drugs, good surgeons, and your odds of living are best anywhere in the world. That's trauma. That's breaking your bones and screwing up your blood system. But when it comes to disease processes, we are a disaster in this country in terms of trying to prevent that process from occurring. There are many other countries in the world that do a much better job of preventing it through other means. What I've been blessed to be able to do for the second half of my life, after retiring and being a paramedic, is to actually be exposed to 40,000 consumers in California that drink raw milk and tell me their stories about what raw milk and whole food nutrition does for them, and then be able to do the research and connect the dots with people like Sally Found and other doctors and so on. So Dr. Murphy, who's here tonight, where's Dr. Murphy? Yes, look right past you. And understand the physiology of why whole foods prevent disease. And connect the dots and say, wow, this is really great. So now, here I'm sitting on top of 40,000 people in California that converse with us all the time through email, telling us their experience about what raw milk has done for them and other whole foods, and then connecting the dots and trying to get universities to study this stuff and understand the politics of the pushback of the universities get money from industry. They don't want to research this, so there's no money to even look at it, and understand the corruption behind not wanting to look at truth. So with that, I'd like to kind of walk into the evening a little bit and give you some bases that kind of correlate where raw milk is and how it can correlate in your life. I've also brought a video this evening that won the best Canadian new, what's the word? It was an investigational video. It was a documentary this year, about 3 weeks ago. It won the best Canadian documentary video that has some Organic Pastures Dairy footage in it. So I thought I might show a few clips of that, but it's too long to take up your whole evening, so I don't want to do that. But it's a great video and it's beautiful. And